In the age of Spotify and streaming music, how can musicians adapt to the changing economics and still make a living? Joining us now to discuss the business of making music today is Mike Errico, a singer-songwriter and adjunct instructor of songwriting at NYU's Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music. Welcome, Mike. Great to see you.
Hello.
So getting heard is easier, right? A musician can put their music online, develop an audience on their own without a record label.
Right.
But getting paid is harder.
Well, it's
Is that right?
well, it's a little bit that way, I suppose. I mean, it is easier to if all intention is a haystack, right?
Right.
You're able to put your needle in there. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
But of course, the haystack itself has grown 3-4-fold at least. So I'm not sure if exactly it's easier, but it is there if you're looking.
If you're looking,
so that's great.
So how do musicians get paid on the streaming model? How does it work exactly? And is it the same with YouTube?
Well, okay. So there's what's supposed to happen, there's what happens, and there's what's happening in the court, right? So what's supposed to happen is that the federal court creates these statutory rates where everybody's equal, right? Now, thanks to social media and being able to be heard and seen, songwriters are opening their books and finding out, like, wow, what's supposed to happen is not happening.
So I'm not getting paid what I'm supposed to be paid for,
yeah, and
what's actually being listened to.
Yes, and there are lots of reasons for that, and it's not necessarily the streaming companies or whatever. There are lots of middlemen, so there are lots of reasons, right? And then third, there's the basic problem, which is in the courts. One of the basic problems is that if you're going to license a song, you need to know the name and address of the person you're going to pay, right? Like, that's the situation, and that is not always the case. So there's a class action suit going on. Two people are actually working on it. David Lowery is one, a singer-songwriter, and Melissa Ferrick, who I've played with and toured with, so full disclaimer there.
Right.
But these are big class action suits about them licensing the songs and not
getting paid.
But not knowing who to pay. Admitting, and Spotify admitting,
we don't know either.
We would certainly pay if we knew who to pay. But the question is whom
So,
to pay.
okay, so aside from the confusion over who to pay, we don't know where it's supposed to go, what are they supposed to be paid? Every 30 seconds a song is streamed, how much is an artist supposed to be paid?
Right. Well, a stream is counted and monetized at 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
Right. There is an eye-rollingly boring formula that has to do with all that.
And is this for Spotify and Pandora for all
They're all different.
They're all different.
And then there's all different tiers within them.
Ooh, it's complicated.
Yeah, so there's free, and then there's subscription, but then there's also interactive and non-interactive.
Right.
And
but suffice it to say, it's right. No, I'm fascinated.
Except the songwriters who are like, say it right.
I'm fascinated because this sounds like a very tough way to make money, because for each song that's counted as streaming, 30 seconds in or whatever, you're not getting that much, right? You're getting...
Right.
Give us an example. I know it's all different.
Well, I just went up, webcasting went up to, what, 17 cents per 100 plays for webcasting. So like, you're getting killed, but like, the defense is that we're not owning the music now. We're renting. It's a completely different thing.
Okay, but you had a very interesting proposal. You wrote about it in the UK Independent, which says, look, if a song is going to get counted as streamed at 30 seconds, why are musicians writing songs longer than 30 seconds?
Exactly.
But I love the fact that a band read your article and said, okay, so our next CD will only be filled with 30-second songs. What has the response to that been?
Well, the response is that there have been several bands that have done that, and I've actually also mentored grad students on the art of utility of songs, and they're writing 30-second songs.
What's the name of this band?
That's one of them. The British one is called the Pocket Gods.
And Friends, right?
Yeah. And so he wrote 100 songs that are 30 seconds each, which is pretty easy to do when it's only 30 seconds.
So the album is called 100 by 30. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Hilarious. And then there are other people who have done the same. There are people who have done other things like just white noise or silence even.
So also quickly, I just want to ask you about the economics of touring, because this seems to be a lot of people say, well, look, you're not going to make money streaming, so just hit the road. You'll make money playing shows. Right. But what's wrong with that model?
There's nothing wrong with that. But the hilarious thing to me is, like, an artist doesn't need to be told to tour, right? So it's not like, oh,
I'm going to tour.
Touring, right? You get in a van? Like there's a four-wheel. It's not like it's a new solution, but what it is this conversation stopper on how do we just get past the fact that there's this Byzantine situation that's going on that was created, a lot of it in 1941. Right. That's when the decrees were initially set.
Yeah.
But what it really is also doing is shifting the burden onto the physical shoulders of the artists, right?
So that's unsustainable because it's one person with one
yes.
physical body.
Right. It becomes, all the money you're making really depends on whether or not Adele is ill. You know what I mean? That, which is crazy. You can't sustain a gigantic multinational corporation on a single person.
Right, and you bring up a good point. I mean, there are the Adeles and the Taylor Swifts and the Beyoncés of the world. They seem to be doing just fine. This is about everybody else in the music industry, right?
Well, it's all those people you mentioned are looking for ways themselves. They're pulling from different services and all this kind of thing. But what's happening is the old saw, which is the middle class, is kind of winnowing out, and the people who are making the money are that there are a few at the top and they're doing great, and then the drop off is crazy.
The new model needs to be figured out. It seems like you're well on your way to figuring it out. Mike Errico, tell us once you've determined how musicians can make money today.